Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of you. First of all, on behalf of the government of Indonesia, it is a great pleasure and honor to extend all delegates, prominent experts and scholars a very welcome to our paradise island in Bali. Before conveying my thought, let me express my sincere thanks to those contributing your valuable time to prepare for and travel to this conference. I am proud to say that this conference takes place as a result of the well-coordinated efforts of the three key Indonesian institutions, the Ministry of Finance, the State Ministry of National Development Planning, or Bappenas, and Bank Indonesia. On this occasion, let me also express my appreciation to the Asian Development Bank, to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and to the World Bank and Association of Indonesian Economists, who have supported us in organizing and hosting this conference. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we have been observing together, global economic turbulence has not shown any signs of easing to the near future. The global economy is in down cycle, providing a more challenging macroeconomic landscape for most countries. So let me share my view this morning on both short-term and the medium-term challenge for the many emerging markets, including Indonesia. As we know that one of the recent developments that many countries in Asia, including Indonesia, not only in Asia, including markets, including Indonesia, are facing now is the impact on the plan of the Fed for the tapering off. It is very crucial to look at, to monitor this issue closely, because recent data from the United States, for example, shows that there is significant improvement in terms of this unemployment rate in the US. It is the latest data showing that the unemployment rate already reached 7%, if I'm not mistaken, and the GDP growth in the third quarter was revised up to about 3.8%. So this somehow will give a signal or indication that probably the possibility of tapering off will come very soon. Of course, this is going to have an impact on the emerging market, including Indonesia. So one thing that I would like to share with you this morning is the short-term impact and how do we mitigate or overcome this kind of situation. And also later on, I will share my view regarding what Indonesia needs to prepare in probably about 10 to 15 years from now, because it is very important not to just occupy with the very short-term policy, but also in the medium and the long term. On the short-term situation, with the current situation and the plan of the Fed and the tapering off, many emerging markets, including Indonesia, affected by this. And one of the reasons is because if this tapering off happens, then the possibility of the capital outflows of emerging markets, including Indonesia, will happen. The interesting part is not many emerging markets or not many countries affected by this. Let me give an example. A country like Philippines or Thailand. In fact, on Philippines or Thailand is rather limited compared to what happened to India or to Indonesia or to South Africa or Turkey or Brazil. So besides these external factors due to the plan of the tapering off, I think we also should look at the internal problem for each country. And it is very interesting to look at the characteristics of the country who experienced sort of like a financial turbulence in the past 5 months. Usually the characteristic is either this country has a problem of current account deficit, the fiscal deficit, or the inflation. Let me give an example of a country like India, like Brazil, like Turkey, like South Africa, or Indonesia. They have a similar difficulties. So it means that in the short term, those emerging markets, including Indonesia, besides the issue of the tapering off, should also address the internal issue. Yes, our main problem now in Indonesia is addressing the current account deficit. That is why in last August, the government has launched a policy package which is aiming to reduce the current account deficit. About what day is it now? This Thursday, I think, if I'm not mistaken, last Monday, we also announced the latest policy package to the Ministry of Finance regarding how to address the current account deficit by trying to discourage import and also to promote export. This is the policy that we will prepare. Why the government and also the central bank focus on this kind of policy? To be back, I know many of you has a background as an academist. I don't want to talk about the ECO 101, but let me refresh the very simple ECO 101. If you look at the problem of the current account deficit, this also somehow reflects the excess demand of the country. This could be because the demand is too strong or because inadequate supply. So the solution for this, overcoming the issue of the current account deficit, is a very simple one. Whether we try to reduce the demand or we try to expand the supply side. Of course, the ideal one would be expanding the supply side. But the problem is, expanding the supply side somehow takes time. We cannot immediately increase the supply side or expand the supply side within the short period of time. So that is why the short period of time policy will focus mainly on addressing the current account deficit by some tightening, which is the central bank already raised the interest rate by 175 basis points. For the next year, the government deficit budget will be reduced from the target of 2.4% of GDP this year to become 1.69% of GDP next year. But we completely understand this policy should only be on the short term, because the ideal solution for this current problem is addressing the supply side. If we continue to focus only on addressing the demand side, it means that Indonesia has to continue to accept the lower growth. It's not a rule of thumb, but if you look at the data, every time this country reaches economic growth more than 6.5%, then we are running quite big current account deficit. But if the country grows less than 5%, then we are running a current account surplus. So it means that at the given quality of the supply side, at the given capacity of the supply side, the sustainable growth would be around 5 to 6%.